Good morning. Last time we said that there are two shofars. The shofar of Elul and the shofar of Rosh Hashanah. So we said, why is it, if the whole purpose of the shofar of Elul is to bring about that a person should have the brokenness, the fear, in order to be able to enter Rosh Hashanah? Rosh Hashanah, we have the higher level of fear. So what do we need Elul for? Why do we need the shofar of Elul for? We said that it has to be the effort of man. So what happens on Rosh Hashanah? Rosh Hashanah is a revelation more of above. But in order that this revelation should be something that's above what man can bring, that's disconnected from the parameters and the limitations of the world, it needs to be in a way that it's connected to the shofar. Why the shofar? Because the mitzvah itself is something which is higher than the world. And therefore we need the mitzvah of shofar. During the month of Elul, shofar is not a mitzvah. During Rosh Hashanah, it's a mitzvah. And because it's a mitzvah, it's able to reach a level that the Rosh Hashanah itself, being the day, which is so awesome, because you could say, I don't need the shofar. Why do we need the shofar? The day of Rosh Hashanah is a day of great judgment. It's a day of great revelation. It's a day of great revelation only up to the parameters of coming into this world, something which is above the world, coming in the world. But it's not coming from the essence. On Rosh Hashanah, we make it come from the essence. That's how we're going to be able to have yir'ah ila'ah, the higher level of fear.
Never reached that throughout the year other than Rosh Hashanah.
Only Rosh Hashanah do we reach this with the blowing of the shofar. Ve'ine yadua, we are in chapter 5. והנה ידוע שבכדי לבוא מיראת התא ליראה הילאה צריך להיות תחילה אהבה. In order to be able to go from the lower level of love to the higher level of love, you need to go, in order to go from the lower level of fear to the higher level of fear, you need to go through love. What is the seder avodah? What is the seder? What is the order? Tchilu, himu, rechimu, tchilu. Tchilu in Aramaic means fear. Rechimu means love. So you have tchilu, rechimu, lower level of fear, lower level of love. Rechimu, tchilu, higher level of love, higher level of fear. So that's how it goes. Low fear, low love, high love, high fear. That's the order of ascension to be able to connect to God to the optimum level. דחילו הראשון הוא יראת התא, ולאחרי זה בדרגות דרחימו, אהבה זוטה ואהבה רבה. ולאחרי זה דחילו יראה הילאה. So basically, you have the lower level of fear, the lower level of love, then you have the great love, which is ahava rabba, and then you have yir'ah ila'ah, and then you have the great level of fear. ומזה מובן לזה שמהיראת התאה דאלו באים ליראה הילאה וראש השנה הוא על ידי הקדמת האהבה. So it seems what comes out of this is that we said Elul, we blow the shofar in order to awaken the lower level of fear. We're finally going to get to Rosh Hashanah, and we are going to experience the higher level of fear. But 1 second, there's 2 steps we missed. The step of the lower level of love and the higher level of love. Where are they? Where did they go? So it seems that we have to go through there first. כשהמלך הוא בשדה הוא מקבל את כולם בספר פנים יפות ומראה פנים שוחקות לכולם. If you remember, the parable that we gave about the month of Elul is that the month of Elul is that month in which everybody that wants to go and greet the king is able to do so because he is in the field, not in his garments of royalty. And therefore, what happens is, at that moment, the king receives everybody with a pleasant face. That was the first step. The second step was he shows a smiling face to everyone. The Rabbi now is going to decipher the parable and associate it to what we just learned. De panim yafot upanim sochakot hu inyan ha'ahava. What is this concept of having a pleasant face and having a smiling face? Says the Rebbe, this is the concept of love. ועל ידי שהמלך מקבל את כולם בספר פנים יפות, ובפרט על ידי שמראה פנים שוחקות לכולם, זה מעורר אצלם כמים הפנים לפנים אהבה למלך. There's a concept, Shlomo Melech says, כמים הפנים אל הפנים, כן לב האדם אל האדם. The same way the water reflects the face of man, so too the heart of man to man. Which means that when I show you a pleasant face, when I show you that pleasantness, then that's going, when I'm showing you a smiling face, you are going to be aroused to smile. When I'm going to show you love, you are going to feel the love and you're going to reciprocate that love, hopefully. Right? So, what happens is that by showing us a pleasant face, showing us a smiling face, what is the king actually doing? He's actually awakening inside of us love for him. Based on this, we could say, שבפרטי המשל שבליקוטי תורה מרומזים דלת עניינים הנ"ל. Now we understand the mashal, the parable, completely in the way it's done, how it actually alludes to this. How? זה שיוצאים לקראת המלך לקבל פניו, the fact that we are going out to receive the king, to go greet the king, שייך ליראת התאה. This is the level of the lower level of fear. The king is in the field, I'm not going to go see him. Of course I'm going to go see him. I'm going to go out of my comfort zone. I'm going to walk when I need to walk and go to the field to greet the king. Afterwards, when the king sees you, המלך מקבלם בספר פנים יפות. He receives everyone with a pleasant countenance. And then, ומראה להם פנים שוחקות. And then he shows them a pleasant face. What does that awaken in you? Two levels of love, the lower level of love and the higher level of love. שתי דרכות דרחמו, פנים יפות, אהבה זוטה, ופנים שוחקות, אהבה רבה. ולאחרי זה בא העניין דבבוא לך על מלכותו יראה אלה. And then we accompany him to his palace, to his royal palace. That's Rosh Hashanah. That's the higher level of fear. So we have the four levels that are happening through Elul. This is the month where we have to have the consciousness of accepting the yoke of God. The king is in the field, I have to accept him. Now, I'd just like to mention something I wrote in my notes. There was a problem. There is a trap. A trap. What is the trap? The trap is the following. I am now going to see the king. The king is dressed, however the king is dressed, but he's not dressed with his garb of a king and with his crown. So what is my reaction at this moment? And not only that, he's receiving me pleasantly and showing me a smiling face. So I feel a closeness. When there is closeness, there's danger. What is the danger? The danger is that I'm going to forget I'm in front of a king.
And you're what?
That I'm in front of a king. And if I forget I'm in front of the king, I'm going to get a little too comfortable. So there needs to be both the month of Elul, on one hand, is the time of revelation of Hashem. God reveals himself and he shows us all this incredible love and he brings us closer to him in order for us to prepare to Rosh Hashanah, to the time where we're going to reappoint him and reaccept him as our king. But we said we need to make the effort. The Yir'at Ta'ah, the lower level of fear, is us making an effort. I'm going to give you an example. There's a Hasidic saying that a mashbak, which means somebody which is the assistant to a great tzaddik, he can never be his follower completely or his chassid. Why is that? Because he has such closeness. He sees him in the morning, he sees him in the afternoon, he sees him all the time. When you have such closeness, you feel it's easier to just connect and be yourself. You're buddy with the king. Doesn't work this way. Man needs to awaken a certain fear. What type of fear are we speaking about? I would say that this fear is a fear of being a servant before his master. And this is all a personal, this is not said in the Mimer, a personal feeling is that the king remains the king even though he's not in the garments of the king. And maybe the test and the reset before Rosh Hashanah is to feel that closeness coming from the king and therefore being aroused to love and to want to be close to the king, but at the same time having that sense of trepidation that you are in front of a king. Which means like it's a sweet and sour type of relationship. On one hand, I still fear him. He's a king, and I recognize, and even though I see him in normal clothing, he's in the field, he's greeting everybody, he's on a tour, he's not. I'm not awe-stricken because a million people are there, declaring, long live the king. But it's the same person. So now I need to make a work on myself to not lose track of that. When I don't lose track of that, then at that moment, my appreciation for the love that he shows me, I think, is much greater. Because since I've not lost track that he is a king, even in this situation, therefore, when I receive that love, it's more intense because I feel it's the love coming from the king, the same king that's in the palace, even though it doesn't seem like it. But if for me, I lost that sense of trepidation and awe, and I see just the love, And I could just lose myself and think, I can do whatever I want. There's a story that's published, so I could say it, of Rabbi Zalman Jaffe, which was very close to the Rebbe. And it was morning, Shabbat morning, and just before Baruch Shama, we sing a song called Haderes Ve'emunah. So they didn't sing. So he decided that he's going to sing. The Hasidim did not get any indication of the Rebbe that we should sing at this moment. So they didn't follow. So Rabbi Zalman Jaffe writes to the Rebbe, or told the Rebbe, I don't know how in the Yechidus, he said, why didn't you give me some support? I'm trying to sing. The Rebbe, in other words, answered him, says, you don't tell me what to do. It's not because we're close that there's no distance of who I am and who you are. I'm the Rebbe, not you. People don't tell me what to do. I lead. And that's extraordinary. Because once there isn't that bitul, if there isn't that yirat ta'ah, then the love that you have is self-serving. I just enjoy, look, I'm buddy with the king. Okay? So what? The king is not a king because you're buddy with the king. Do you know who you are compared to the king? Because God shows you love, a lot of people say, oh, God is very close to me. God loves me particularly more than everybody else. Hello. God does whatever he wants. He loves everybody the same. You might feel the love more. If you feel the love more, you have to feel the fear more. And you have to feel at the same time the obligation more to make that transformation. And ultimately, that's the preparation. Yes, this is the same king that showed me so much love, so much compassion, so much an overflow of love. I want to embrace him even more so because he's still my king. I think that is something that has to stay in our mind during the month of Elul. It's not only about the singing, the slichot, and Rosh Hashanah is coming. No, you need to have both. It has to be done in a way of joy. In one of the Ma'amarim, in one of the Rebbe's discourses, there was a tremendous, beautiful expression. He says we have to receive the yoke and the royalty of God bebitul atzum, with awesome, complete surrender, annulment, self-erasement, ubesimcha rabah, and with tremendous joy. Because you'd say it doesn't go hand in hand. Self-erasement is joy is an expression of self. No. Here, it's because I realize how great the king is, I'm so joyful. And therefore, I am completely erased in front of him because I want more of him to dominate my life. God bless you.